Welcome everybody. This is the Thursday evening Viper Trading webinar. First, we got to knock our standard disclaimer out of the way before we can get on to trading and some charts. All communications from Viper Trading Systems are for educational purposes only. Futures and Forex trading does involve risk, and there is a risk of loss. Nothing contained in this webinar or other webinars, including the live trading room, are to be construed as investment or trading advice. And of course, everybody in here does know that you do trade at your own sole discretion. All right, so tonight's topic, I'm gonna try to mix it up a little bit tonight. Let me get over to some charts here on screen one. Stand by, please. Before I just jump right into to trades here, this is the we're going right into the beginning of the what's called the not the European, the Asian session. So how this works is that at 5 o'clock Pacific, we start trading the Asian session. Now, that runs until about midnight, roughly, where at midnight we start to go into what is called the European session. So that's the open in London and throughout Europe, where they trade, well, they trade, you know, their stock markets. You have the DAX over there in Germany. Futures are traded heavily overnight, of course. And I just want to let everyone know, and this is recorded, by the way, so if you have to leave early, don't worry about it. And I see some more people coming in late, so don't worry about it. In the Asian session here, we're going to look at a couple of instruments, and let me familiarize everyone with what you're looking at here. In fact, let me pull one of these up so we can start looking at it. 6J is the yen futures. All the futures instruments that start with the number 6 are currency futures. So you have 6A is the Aussie dollar. In fact, let me go in and pull up a, I gotta let this chart load or it's gonna get all locked up. Give me a second, please. I'll pull up that little list of instruments so you can see what I'm talking about. Stand by, loading. There we go. Hey, before I do that, I got a question. Okay, look at this market. You know what? I got to get Object Trader on here. Let me pop a quick question to the team. Make sure everybody's awake. Diane, we did that in the beginning. We've always been trading. We had the 4-range charts a long time ago, since the early stages of the deal, and we had, you know, I don't have OT on here. I wanted to show Object Trader. You know what? Here, let's do this. I have a quick fix. Let me put something else up here because I want to see if we can get a trade off here. I'll have time to get OT on the other charts. I was running a little bit late here. I got stuck in traffic. I was coming back from something. Or wait a minute. Maybe I do have OT on here. Hold on. Is it on here? It might be on here. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. There we go. Here we go. Okay, I was trying to panic to try to get something up here. John, we actually don't trade, just to be clear here, so we're all on the same page. I'm not going to actually trade live money tonight. I don't really trade the Asian session. I started to do this, hold on a second here. Give me 1 second, please. All right, I'm going to set up OT right now to take a trade. I'll circle back and answer your questions. I just hit insert on Object Trader. We're going to go short only, and I just activated it. And I want to go 2 contracts. One with a 5-tick target, and no, I'm going to go 10 and 50 for a runner. Oops, not 100. There we go. All right, so let me back up. Insert is a hotkey. This operates on hotkeys, Havad. So, for instance, what you do, just quickly, some people might not really even sort of know what they're really looking at here. All right, so back over here, and then I'll get to Object Trader. 6A is the Aussie dollar futures. Okay, this is an instrument that tends to move in the Asian session right here, 6A, and we'll be looking at this one in a minute. 6J is the yen futures. That's just sort of getting fired up right now. It'll trade through midnight fairly actively. Sometimes you'll get some movement on crude oil, CL. Okay. By the way, this contract's getting ready to roll to March early next week. Just a heads up on that. Occasionally you'll see the 6E move in the dollar index, DX, but mostly those tend to move in the European session. Okay. So the European session, the movement is going to be mainly out of 6B, the British pound, 6C, the Canadian. We might see some movement here. 6E, 6S, and the dollar index. Now, there are two markets in Germany. One is the DAX, which is sort of their Dow equivalent, and their Bunds, the German Bunds. Now, I got to warn you about this. If you're up late, if you're a night owl and you want to try these two instruments, they're woolly beasts. Okay, they can move like big dogs real fast, and they can hurt you real fast. I'd strongly urge you to just watch them, trade them in sim if you want to play around with them. Let's go back to this trade. Now, we could rebox this. Let's take a quick vote. How many of you want to rebox? You want to leave it where it is? Let's take a vote. Oh, I just lost the box. Ah! I was trying to delete these lines. Stand by. I want to get a trade off here. I want something to watch. So I want did I get it? Ah, there we go. Yeah, we got a trade. Woohoo! All right, so let me explain what we're doing here. For those of you that are completely new, what you're looking at here is our indicators. We have the background colors. We have the bar colors. We have the bands with the mid-band and the bands around it. And we trade retracements in a trend. So what is the trend on the chart right now? What's the trend on the chart right now? Anybody? Up, down, or sideways? Anybody? What's the trend on this chart for 6J right at this moment? Yeah, it's down. Yeah, the trend is down. Let's go back here. It's been down pretty much all day, right? Let's go back here. And so when you have a downtrending market, I think I'm going to state the obvious. Everybody knows that our mode of entry is short. We're selling the market short. But we know we don't want to sell markets after they've made what's called a thrusting move in the direction of the trend. So here's an example of a thrust move right here. Then at some point, most markets have what's called a retracement part of the move. In other words, in the case of the downtrend, you have thrust to the downside, and then you have a modest or sometimes deep retracement to the upside. Here again, you have the same thing. Pattern repeats itself. Swing down to check the swing, and then we retrace back up to the mid-band, and we get another trade. We are retracement traders. So each time the market comes up at or around the mid-band, we use our tools to get in. Now circling back to the tool over here, this is Object Trader. This is a fairly extensive piece of code that we've written over the past few years. And there are several modes of entry. You can use a region, array, set a time, bar close, and sniper. So tonight what I'm using is I'm just using, as an example, just to get a trade on so we can all look at something, I use the region box. And the way you deploy that is you hit the insert button, and you saw a little box pop up here, right? And then you position and size the box very quickly to where it wants to go, engulfing, whatever swings you're looking at. And then the way you activate it is to hit enter. Now when you hit enter, it's going to change color to this sort of green color right here. And you can come in here, and depending on how many contracts you want to trade, you can put on 1, 2, 3, 4, as many as you want, 10. And then this is all the preset targets and the original stop. Okay, here's your targets, and you can adjust all those. How do you know how far its retracement goes, CG? Well, that normally we look for entry somewhere at or around the midband right here. So you see when it came up and it rolled and it did a little ABC, got A, B, C, D, E. All right. Now, if I had bar close activated, and I was going to do this, but I was talking and I was just pulling this chart up and I was just getting OT on here, a good entry would have been a bar flip right here, bar close entry. If I had time, when it was coming up here and it was flipping. So, for instance, in the live room, you might hear comments to the effect of, if it comes up around the midband, anywhere around that 87150 area to 87180, I'm going to take a bar flip short. So you could have been in all the way up here as it was coming back through the midband. That was actually a very good short entry, but I was trying to get everything ready and I just missed it. So I was able to get this box on. So what happens is the mechanics of how this is actually working. Let's take a minute just to talk about that for a second, okay? When you turn on bar flip, at the time, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to trade, but if you turn in bar close, whenever you activate it, the next bar that closes down will get you in. So that's one of the more aggressive trade entries, bar close. The region, as you can see, is when you want to engulf an area and you're looking for trend continuation to the downside. Notice how we're getting a series of thrusting moves to the downside, like this, A, B, C. C's kind of played itself out right here, and then it's coming back up. It's sort of meandering in this lower range right here. See it? Sort of meandering on down. Now, we don't know. Now what you have here since the trade was deployed was that it put the initial target here at 10 ticks. Now, I dragged it down a little bit. It was sitting right there. Probably should have left it at 5. I'd have one off already, right? And then here's your runner down here. See it? Just like that. Now it also places your original, what we call the initial stop, and that setting is right here. 12. 12 ticks is your initial stop. So here's your stop sitting right up here. Now the nice thing about OT, as opposed to other setups where you have to have a strategy on a chart, standalone, and then use something like Market Trader in a separate panel, it's a little bit of a pain because you have to use 2 charts. We intentionally built this tool so everything is right here. You can move the targets around, you can drag them down, you can drag them up, you can move the stops around, you take them up, you can move them down, take it above that swing if you want. So that's more or less the mechanics of how it works. The one thing I don't have on here yet that is still in beta stage that Gary has, and I think everybody saw it, and we'll show it again tomorrow morning, is the power meter. Now, I don't have the power meter on here. Everybody's seen the power meter. Anybody not see the power meter? Power meters are up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and there's sort of the strength of the trend. So, for instance, I know if this was up here, we would see 3 and 4 would be red, and most likely 1 and 2 would be red as well. There is this new snippets of code that have gone into OT can trade power meter flips. So for instance, power meter 3 and 4 would be red, so you're looking for a downtrending or flip short. And then when power meter 1 and 2, you can pick either one or 2 goes red, it would actually fire and take the trade. All right, let's take some quick votes from the team. We're moving our targets around here. How many of you want to move the targets? I have very aggressive targets here. All right. So if it comes down and bips this one, you'll get 6 ticks. So as you adjust this on the fly, see these numbers over here? They're going to change dynamically. How many of you want to leave the aggressive tight targets here? In other words, if we roll and we bip here and here within the swing and the confines of this little range, we'll get out. How many of you want to move them down? like this, so you have more runners. So go ahead and type in an L for leave them where they're at, and you can take in a down or runners for the runners to take them out of the way and let the market move. Taking a vote from the team, we'll do what the consensus is. Ooh. Ooh, a real counting leaves. One, cast your vote. We'll leave the polls open for, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. So leave was the aggressive position where we left them up high, so you get out quickly. 6 ticks and probably 12 ticks. This one here, you're waiting for it to come down here like this. When you drag your targets out of the way, you're essentially looking for the market to come down and do this, taking out that swing. That would be the runners. Ooh, it's a pretty interesting mix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about a dozen on the leave side, counting runners and downs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bank 1, move down the second target, turning choppy now. Wow, it's mixed. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's try to split the decision like this. We'll go ahead and leave. Many of you wanted to leave one tight one like that. It's 6 ticks. See how it adjusts on the fly to 6? So in other words, if we get a quick bit down here, that little swing of the candle, it'll take us out of that first contract. Then what we can do is we can leave this one just right here at the a few ticks above the swing here. And if it starts aggressively dropping like this, sometimes 6J doesn't get started until, it might be another half an hour. I mean, it might take another 20 minutes because the volume I can tell is still pretty low. It's just kind of sort of getting started. This is the first 20 minutes of the Asian session. It is very choppy, Philip. Yeah, it's very choppy. But at least we got a trade on, so we can talk about it and manage it together and watch how the market moves. That's what you got to do, especially in sim. This isn't sim. Just to show you, this is not a live trade. It's live data, so 6J is actually doing this. If you came in late, we are short 6J in sim from this level right here, 8711. Alrighty, everybody see that? Okay, coming back up. Might come back up into the box. Tell you what, while we're watching this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tuck this little puppy in the corner, and we're going to keep an eye on it. And then I'm going to get something else in here. All right, anybody scanning the markets? What else is moving right now? 6A. Is anybody watching gold? Eddie, you have a gold chart up? I know you're probably looking at the market. All right, here's 6A. Let me scooch this puppy over to the left. So we'll just sort of tuck it over here and keep an eye on it. May get some follow through, we might not. We'll have to see what she's gonna do. What you gonna do when they come for you, 6J? All right, so here's 6A. This is the Aussie dollar futures. And let me pop a quick question to the team here. Here's midnight Pacific from yesterday coming into this morning. I'm here in California. This is all Pacific time. What was the trend on 6A today? What was the trend on 6A today? Up, down, or sideways? What say you, team, on the consensus? Yeah, absolutely. It was an uptrend. It's been an uptrend for a little while here. Let's go back. I'm missing some data here. It's maybe a little corrupt database here on this, but the trend was up. Yeah, trend was up all day. So when the trend is up, I'll just state the obvious. You can see here clearly that the background is green. Predominant color of the bars is blue. The mid-band and all the bands stair step up, like a stairs going up to the second floor of a building, right? Stair stepping. And so the method of trade entries then is buying retracements into support, right? So here's a trade right here. For those of you who are just looking at this for the first time, here would have been a long trade right here. Didn't really get into much of another pullback. I'm just going to generally say that when you went into this area up here, you became range bound. And I think somebody typed this in. Mark H said up to sideways. And what he's referring to here is in this consolidation patch up here. Now this would have been later in the afternoon. This would have been later in the afternoon, closer to the close of the markets. What you were doing when you came down and paused and bounced was you were buying support. So you actually had 3 long trades out of this region right here. You had long trade number 1, and you're taking profits at the top of the range. See it? Trade number 2, and then trade number 3. Now let me ask another question to the team here tonight. What is different about trade number 3 from trade number 1 and 2 in that trading range up there? Trade number 3 is over here. What's different about trade number 3? Right here. Versus the other 2 trades in this trading range coming off of this big uptrend move. Double top, lower high. That's a lower high. Now when you get a lower high, what is that usually, what's that usually a heads up? Now we call these out in the room too in real time. When these happen on the instruments that we're trading, we always say, notice you got a lower high there. Notice you got a higher low there. Trend was moving up and it got a lower high. What does that mean? Why do we even, what difference does that make? Why do we even care about that? Anybody? So what we're talking about, if you're just looking at this chart for the first time, from this thrust move here, it established a swing right here. You can see there was a predictor there too. We pull back, we hold just above the midband, we get this trade right here. Just wicks the top of the range, taking profits on your scalper trade in the upper range. Get one more bounce off the midband, textbook midband trade bounce, right in here. See it? Just comes right to the swing perfectly. Don't you love when markets respect the swings like this? I know I do. I just love those type of trades. It's really just totally awesome. Okay, here's trade number 3. We bounce off the midband, wicking it just one more time for our long entry. Bar close up, however you got in. And then here's what we're talking about over here. Notice how this swing on your long entry here did not quite get back up to this level right here. So what this is telling you is that some of the momentum in this move is starting to wane. In other words, there's not enough, momentum to get it back to here, let alone take it out for trend continuation to the upside. This could be telling you portending a couple of things. Possible trend change, Jim, yeah. Possible deeper retracement. In other words, the next, what I would say, and of course hindsight's 20/20, but that notice how here on these 3 retracements, it held above the midband or at the midband on each of the 3, right? But what happened here? Did we get a pause at the midband at all? No. No, it plowed right through it and went right down to Phantom. Now, there's been a lot of confusion, especially with those of you who are new or visiting in the New Year Open House deal there, that a lot of people think that just since you came through this midband here that this constitutes a trend change. Now, there are several things happening here. By the way, let me just deploy. I want to do something. I want to do something here. So I want to get a 6-8 trade on. Stand by, please. I got to activate OT, and let's get a box up real quick. Just while we're doing, I want to get a trade on so we can manage it. Okay, stand by. And OT is deployed. It's gonna I might not have time. Hey, I'm gonna show something different here. Let's do a bar close, long up. and two contracts. And we'll do a 5-tick target. And how far up is that? And we'll do 20. 20 should put us up near the top of that trading range. So over here on 6J, we use the region box. In fact, I left the box here so you can still see it. The region box. We had a region box, and it filled on. It was a pretty bad fill. It should have filled on the close of that bar, but we didn't actually get filled until down here because you get a lot of slippage in the low volume evening time like this. Now the difference over here, if you look at this, we said that the trend is up, so we're looking to get long. I normally might not take this trade, and here's why. Where did the actual trade itself set up? Down here, right? When it came to the outermost band, Phantom, it's called the Phantom out here, and it closed up, the trade was actually here, so we missed it, right? That was the trade. In fact, you would actually be taking scalper coin right here already, and you'd already have your stop up here. Okay, so normally I would not take this because we missed it. Or you could box it and let it go either way. So the thing I want to be clear about that some people still have issues with, and I understand why. Visually, it's hard to accept the fact that this market plowed right through this support level and the midband and went lower. A lot of people, and I totally get this, start thinking that is a trend change. But many times in a good, powerful uptrend, it's just simply a deep retracement in the overall move. And that's hard to deal with that, you know. Sometimes traders just have a tough time with that. They want to be shorting here. It's a quick question. If we did a region box here on 6A, I'll just draw one. I put in bar close because I want to show how that works. But hypothetically, if we put a bar in here, let's take a quick consensus vote of the team. We'll open the polls for 15 seconds. Would you do long only, LO, short only, SO, or both out of this box? If we were to put a region box on 6A right now at this moment, and you had to enable something up here for it to take. Long only, where it's only looking for longs. Short only, where it's only taking shorts, or B for both. Cast your vote. How, if you had this box right up now on your chart right in front of you, and you're getting ready to take a trade here in the Asian session on 6A, how would you enable the box? Ooh, interesting mix of votes. Counting boths. Well, I'm a little surprised about this. Well, let me see here. Okay, counting boths. B boths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow. Holy cow. A lot of boths. Counting longs. 1, Adam. 2, David. 3, Doug. And then only a small handful of shorts only from Brent and Michael. Wow, both overwhelmingly have it. Well, tell you what, instead of bar close, do you want me to put a region box on here and let it trade both ways in case it rolls and flips? Yes? Since we have an overwhelming majority of voters calling for both? All right, so let's do that. Let's turn off bar close. Hope it doesn't close up and I miss it. Let's quickly get the region up here. Okay, insert. Come on, little friendy. Insert. And let's engulf the wick of this candle right here. Well, don't close up! No! Ah, it got me in. Everybody wanted a both box. Well, all right, we're in it. We're married to it now, huh? We're married to it now. That's all right. Yeah, we get. You know what? We just don't want to sit here all night staring at a screen with no trades on. I mean, I'd rather have trades that, you know, whatever, don't work out. and we have something to watch and teach and learn on than just sit here and stare at a screen with bars moving around. All right, now notice here that there's a couple of swings to watch. We got this swing here, and we got, interestingly enough, this swing up here. So we've put our first target at 5 ticks, so it's a very close target. It's right here, considered a scalper target. How many of you want to take it up to just inside of that swing right there? Move it up a little bit so it's right under here, and then we can take this one and put it right under the top. We're going to fade. If you ever heard that term, fade, when you say somebody says they're fading, you know what? Everybody gets the idea. Can I take all this drawing stuff off of here? I clean this chart up. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Just get all that crap off of there. Take that off. Yeah, it's a cleaner chart. There you go. So either bar close or region would have gotten you in pretty much kind of at the same place, because as we were drawing this, we had bar close activated. The overwhelming majority was to box it and let both sides trade. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do in case this flips, to reduce our risk. I'm going to take the stop up from here and put it back inside the box like this. So in the event that it does reverse, and I can do this here too, by the way. How many of you want to reverse? Reverse 6J. In other words, when it pops the top of that box right here, I've got the stop right there. So I could drag the stop in this box and activate the long side and let it take the longs. Quick 10-second vote. Yes, long. Just type a Y in if you want it to flip 6J when it takes this swing out. Flip it, yes or no. Ooh, quite a mix. Interesting vote on that. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of yeses. Oh, got the stop. Okay, turn on long. Is it too late? Might have missed it. I asked that question too late. It's going up. All right, I'm pretending that we had the bar close on. Everybody saw what happened there, right? I was trying to drag the stop into here to let it fill and then activate the long side, and it's before I had a chance to do that, it went ahead and closed up, snagged it, and I couldn't reactivate the box. So unfortunately, I had to do a quick market order to get in here, just to have a long trade on to see how that pans out. Now, technically, this is counter trend. Okay. Now we're getting some movement in our 6A over here. How many of you want to move the stops? Move the targets up. Type in a U for up, N for no. Up would mean more like this, like you hit the top, you fade the top of the swing with that puppy, and then you have a runner. That's up. That would be the up vote. N would be no. Leave them where they're at. Where they were at was like this and like that. So they're all in the no, leave them where it's at. You're essentially keeping the targets within the confines of the range, right? In the case of the up, you're going to take one out when it gets up here to this swing, fading it 507, 508 by three ticks, and then you'll have a runner. Ooh. No, yes, up. Counting the ups. One. Several votes for just move the top one. Interesting enough from David E. Several of you said just put Thomas says take the coin right now. By the way, these markets are moving very slowly. I think everybody can see that. That sometimes happens in the Asian session. You just don't get a whole lot of movement. And so obviously if this was the open of the equity markets and we were trading equity instruments, you would get a lot more movement, and you can get trend changes, 1 or 2 or 3 times in a morning. It's not uncommon to have trend changes and big movement. And that's where typically, if you were going to use both sides of a box to get long and short, you can get away with doing that. 6:30, 7 o'clock news time, you know what I mean? High energy times, you're going to be looking for trend changes and take both sides. And what I mean by that is this. I know the consensus vote was to get long here, but I think when we looked at this earlier on circling back to 6J very quickly here, the overall trend was down. So what I'm trying to say here is that this long trade is counter trend by definition, because it could quite possibly come all the way up in here into phantom and roll and give me another short trade. But the way we do this here is we take the team consensus vote and we do what the team wants to do. That's what this is all about. It's trying to help you to see these trades so that when you see similar price patterns, when you're trading it yourself, that you can step in and go ahead and take the trade. Okay, coming back over here. All right, is anything else moving? Anything else moving? By the way, just the final comment on this. Having counter trend trade up like this out of the box is very risky. It's very risky, and this could flip on you and come back in the box and stop out. So the way we're going to do that is it stops right here. In fact, we'll let it come down just under the mid band, and then we'll go ahead and let it flip short again. Okay. Yeah, this is a holiday weekend. I have to talk to David D. By the way, just a quick heads up while we're watching this, everybody. Most of you know, of course, Martin Luther King Day is on Monday. I think Monday's what, the 14th or something like that? Here, let me check. God, 14th of January. Doesn't it seem like it was just New Year's? Doesn't it seem like Christmas was here and New Year's was here? It's like the middle of the month already. It's unbelievable. It's like we're 2 weeks into the year and it's going faster. And it seems like the older I get, time goes. Is it just me? Or as you get older, time goes faster? I remember being a little kid, everything took forever. You know? When you're a kid, stuff takes forever. And then you get older and it's like, oh my God, how do I slow this time thing down? It's killing me. Trading makes the time fly. I think you're right there, Eddie. Yeah, birthdays do come a lot quicker when you get older. David said he's so old he doesn't remember. He can't remember what it was like when he was young. Okay, yeah, so back here, Monday is the the 14th. Or no, 15th. Martin Luther King Day. It is a bank holiday, so all the federal government banks will all be shut down. Cash markets are closed. There's no stock trading. The Dow, S&P, they'll all be closed. And the options futures markets close early at 10 o'clock Pacific, so it's a shortened session. I was talking to Gary. We'll let you know in the morning. I think we're probably just going to go ahead and close. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, John. It is Monday the 16th. Yeah, today's Thursday the 12th, so that'd be Monday the 16th, Martin Luther King Day. Federal bank holidays, cash markets closed, shortened session. So we're probably not gonna have a room that day. Okay, let's see if we can get any other trades off here. We still have some more time. Anything else moving? Anything else moving? Crude oil, anybody? Yeah, we're going to take the day off. Just relax a little bit. Year's off to a good start. Okay, I'm going to tuck the 6A in the corner. Anybody scanning the markets for us, the team? Gold was moving, but it's slowing down, John says. Okay. Hey, okay, let me do this. Let me start pulling some other charts up. Here's crude oil right now. How many of you want to trade crude oil right now? I don't know about you, but I love this chart. Look how nice that is. Entries are real clear. Yeah, I love a chart like that. Smooth. This is my favorite kind of chart right here, this crude oil chart right here. Anybody want to trade this with me? Crude oil. Come on, let's load the boat. This is the time to load her up when the chart looks like this, right? We're going to leverage up. Put 10 contracts on, no stops. Let's go for the gusto. Crude oil. With your money. I'm just kidding, everybody. This chart's a mess. Look at this thing. It's ridiculous. All right, so how do we know it's a mess? Fade the range. There you go. You know what? I'm gonna this 6J might run up a little higher. I'm gonna take this target just up a little bit. And we got the other runner way up there, 50 ticks. That's too high. Let's see where the next swing is. We'll pull it down a little bit. Here's the runner way up here. I think we're gonna want to fade that puppy. Go underneath of it. I think you got another swing here. Come on, little friendly. Come on down. Come on down. How many of you want to take the stops up on 6J? Our entry was right here. See the long? How many of you want to crank those stops up tighter? You want to drag it up here? Like that? Just under that predictor? You like that? Alrighty. Now, for you traders here tonight who voted to leave these targets where they were, you probably would have one off already because we were just under the swing right here. Remember? Remember we looked at this swing and we were fading it? I think it would have been right here. If we'd left it, this one would be off already. All right. So for those of you that said leave, and I'm going to take care of you now, we're going to take it right back down. So if that bar closes up, we'll pop through target number 1. And given the slowness of the market, I'm going to drag that one back down too. And since we want to get out of the contracts before we run out of time, let's go ahead and pop that down. Keep that nice and tight. Get a tight stop on it too in case it bips in our face because it is counter trend. Pull that puppy down too. All right, so back over here to crude. You know, you can, most traders, I mean, everybody in here I think can clearly see that, you know, and I'll put the predictors back on here too, okay? You know, you can toggle this on and off like that, right? You know, it doesn't take like a rocket scientist to see that, you know, we've been in this range all day on oil, all afternoon. You put your lines on your charts, and here's the way you approach this. You have to say to yourself, am I willing to get long or go short within the confines of this range? Do I want to trade it? Now, the usual rule of thumb for us is 20 to 25 tick minimum. So do we have that here on crude? Support at 90, resistance at 20, 13, 15, 16 area. You're right on the cusp. You're right on the edge of tradability. Now, why do we have that rule? Anybody? Why have a rule on how large the range needs to be to trade it? Why have a rule like that? What's the purpose of that? I mean, why don't you just trade any range? I mean, I mean, if you can see the top and bottom of the range, why don't you just trade any of them? Trade all of them. They all make money, right? Profits and slippage. Right. There's not enough meat on the bone. Right. There's not enough meat on the bone to ensure some risk-return ratio. Good. So, when we talk about fading a bottom and fading a top, what we're essentially saying is this. We're saying that you can't, generally speaking, put your order right on the actual swing itself to get in, to get filled, right? In other words, you have to put an order. I wonder if I could put Chart Trader and just do an order on here to show this. You know, let me do that. I think I could do that. Let me just throw Chart Trader on real quick so I can illustrate what I'm trying to show here. Oh, Object Trader's on here already. Let me do something different here. Let me take that off for now because I do want to show this real quick before we run out of time. and I want to do it in a way where I can put orders there and just sort of let them sit there so you can visualize it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now let's just slap Chart Trader on here real quick so I can show you something to you. Make sure we're in sim. Okay, here we go. Here's crude oil with Chart Trader on it. By the way, just back over here to show the difference between the two. Here's Object Trader. Notice how much more robust and detailed it is and all the different things you can do with it versus Chart Trader. Chart Trader is good. You can put, I'll show it here. Let's put a sell order here at the top, something like that. For very crude and I'm not saying anything derogatory about Ninja. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. They've been our sole partner, platform partner for 9 years. We go way back with these guys. We're very close to them up in Denver. But let's face it, the Chart Trader panel doesn't have a lot of functionality on it. I mean, you can do the basics, you can buy and sell, but beyond that, you're kind of really restricted. And that's why we went out and built Object Trader. We wanted to have different ways to get in using various tool types. And truth be told, it was originally built because we wanted to have a big region box to trade ranges like this. That was the whole idea. Inside boxes, outside boxes, different, all the different tools that wound up in here. That's how we got to where we're at right now. But for basic trading, just using the, if you want some just basic buy sell, you can put a Chart Trader up there. You can absolutely do that. But this is what I was trying to say. Here's what I'm trying to illustrate is that if you're, let's say hypothetically you're going to trade both sides of this range. In other words, you're shorting the top on rollovers and you're buying the bottom at support. So to get in, you can see that the swings are located here and here. At the top, it's right here. But we can't put it right there because sometimes it doesn't get up there. Sometimes it goes a little bit above it. So you have to fade it, usually by at least 5 or 6 ticks, sometimes more. And then you have to fade the bottom because the swings are down here. See them? You want to get in, you got to go here. Now, by the time you get filled on one of these, and you get some slippage, a couple of ticks of slippage, and you pay commission, unless you have a range that's at least 20, 25 ticks, there's no meat in there to make any money. Imagine if this range was only, oh, we got filled short. Cool. Good, we got a crude trade on. Something to watch there. That's a happy camper. So we'll watch that. And, oh, the one thing I did want to do, let me show you this real quick. I forgot to do this beforehand, but I was trying to show that. Yeah, see, you've been in a range pretty much most of the afternoon. Now, I would consider this trade a little bit risky in the fact that you're shorting the top, and you got to have a pretty loose stop on it. I mean, you'd almost have to put the stops, way up here, huh? Because if it bips through this swing, I mean, you could come up here and roll, right? So that's a beefy stop. In other words, you got a huge stop up here to cover on your short from here, and your target's right here. So here we're going to do, if it comes on there, I don't think it's going to do it. By the time we close the room, webinar, this will be done. Everybody see how we handle a range like that? Okay, we stopped out of 6J. It turned out, or no, we didn't. It's coming. Are we in it? Are we short? Or no, we're short crude. We're still long 6A. We're long 2 contracts still, but we're upside down. All right, this thing is just whipping around. Okay, now what lesson did we learn? What was the takeaway from our 6J trade for getting long here? Was that a good idea to get long right here? What say you, team? Here, I can answer it this way. That's what your position would be right now, right there. What should we have been doing up in here when it was coming and hitting its head near the phantom? Hindsight's 20/20, but you know what? That's how you learn. You got to get in there and take those trades. You got to pull the trigger, even if it's in sim, because you know what? You're never going to learn how to trade just staring at a chart. I mean, everybody knows that, right? You just sit and stare at a chart and think about what you're going to do. You're not going to. First of all, it's going to be hard to learn the trading system itself, how to get in and what to do. But then it's hard to make any money. You're just staring at a chart. You got to get in and pull the trigger. You're going to make mistakes. Right. I intentionally, remember I said when we took this vote, remember? We said it's a team crowdsource funding trading here. You know, I'll lob out ideas, and then, you know, we take the vote of the team. Whatever the consensus is, that's what we do. But I wanted, the important takeaway was that you really didn't want to be getting long here. That was, when we did it, we said, you probably don't want to do this. It's a counter trend trade. You should be looking to short a rollover up here. And I hope, you know, we learned a lesson from that, right? In order to actually get long, let me take some of the drawing elements off of here so I can just show this so there's no ambiguity about what we're trying to say here. Where is it? Remove all drawing objects. There we go. Okay, with a clean slate. You know what? I might just want to take this position off. We're going to be wrapping up here soon because I want to show something here. Let me circle back and open this up, and we can talk about this so we're a little more clear about what's going on. Close position. Let me close it from the. Oh, by the way, did anybody know you can do that, right? Everybody knows you can do that. You can close it from several places. If you went out of that trade, close position. Boom, done, gone. As it turned out, this was a deep retracement in the overall downtrend. The trend had been down the whole time. We did not change trends here. You did get a different sort of opaque background here. But all this turned out to be was just a deep retracement where you're looking for a short rollover up here. So instead of taking the long out of the box and flipping it, the prudent thing to do would have been to box it and short it, or turn on bar close down here. And probably on one of these bars, depending on when you turned it on, it might have been filled on either this bar short, depending on when you turned it on and how you positioned it, or definitely on this bar short right there. That would be using the bar close feature. Bar close down, up at resistance. Yeah, because I don't know that I'd put a region box out here. I tend to like the region boxes more at the mid-band. I like region boxes more at the mid-band. Up here you can turn on bar close, and so when the bar closes down, you're actually in short because you're still trading the short side up there. So that's one of the tricky things. You know, I would say in terms of if I was to sort of rank the order of degrees of how would you say technical challenges to learn trading for our system in these futures markets, I think the easiest one to pick off. Here, let's get OT back on here real quick. Stand by. Let's get OT back on here so I can show this before we wrap. I gotta put OT back on here. Here we go. And we're gonna activate it. I think I can sneak this in here real quick. Oh, it's showing two of them. Why is it doing that? Ah! Oh no! I guess somehow got two of them on there. You know what? I'll just show it a different way. And this will be the final question I'll ask before we wrap. If we were to take OT and put a region box on here, like this. Now, granted, we all know that the trade actually set up out here. Okay, so technically speaking, you missed the trade entry. And that's one thing I want to say is you want to be careful, very careful on these types of trade entries here, where you know you don't want to be it's like swimming upstream. You don't want to be going against the trend. Whatever the trend is, that's pretty much what you want to take until proven otherwise. And so what I'm trying to say is this, is that generally speaking right now, you probably would not do a region box because we can all see here that the trade setup was here and you actually got your scalper. And depending on how tight your stop was and where you got filled, you're probably just getting ready to get out of it. Yeah, that's a good chart to look at. That's a good chart to look at there, Eddie. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to flatten everything here and wrap. Any final questions? By the way, like I said, this is the technically, as far as the live room is concerned, let me turn off the recorder.